Hi, I'm Jeanette, the Northbound Coach. Welcome. Today, I want to talk a bit about burnout, job burnout, career burnout, feeling burned out. And it's been on my mind, I think this week in particular, because more than one of my career coaching clients brought it up as a topic. Not that it isn't a topic in other weeks, it's a very common career topic to be discussing, but I was thinking about it in particular this week because one of the kind of primary symptoms is just so tricky to deal with. And I was meditating on, what one can do about that and the interesting relationship of the symptom to the burnout itself. And that all sounds very cryptic. So let me explain more specifically what I'm thinking about. One of the symptoms of burnout is this sense that although you know absolutely that you should be doing a particular thing, maybe it's, an action item on your list of to-dos for a work project, or maybe it's something connected to updating your resume, or who knows what it is, but it legitimately belongs on the list. And in the past, you wouldn't have had a issue with checking that off and getting it completed. And now it's this feeling of just absolute overwhelm, exhaustion, fatigue when looking at this particular thing or things that need to be done to move things forward. Perhaps it has to do with, expectations of you in your role. And, this is getting to be quite ridiculous as you think about, gosh, if I don't do this, not great things are going to happen. Maybe it's something that's on your personal to-do list that you want to move forward around, and there's in your mind no good reason why you're not doing it. But essentially what I'm describing here is this kind of big question mark, like, why is this so hard? It didn't used to be this hard to, make progress in these particular areas. And I just keep failing at being able to, make progress in these different areas because I'm just so tired, unmotivated, etc. And I was thinking about, how common, first of all, that is as a symptom, how terrible it is as a symptom. It's just really awful to know that you want to do this. It used to be easier to do and you just can't get it done. And the relationship to kind of how one might have gotten into the status of being burned out to begin with. And that they're so linked in together. And what I mean by that is one of the main causes when you go back and kind of unravel, and when I've looked at this, for myself in the past where I felt so burned out, is having not established proper boundaries or said no when I should have said no to some things in the past. So that kind of over exuberance, over zealous pushing forward, to kind of superhuman, get these, work objectives completed, get these things off my list. That over the course of time can lead to, just you've pushed too hard for too long and did not say no or set proper boundaries around things. And you reach a point where there's just utter exhaustion and lack of motivation to be able to do, some of the basic things that were not hard to do before. And what I thought was so ironic about the connections between the symptom and kind of the cause of the burnout are how it really has to do with the setting of the proper boundary and the saying no. And so in a way, when the symptom appears, it is a saying no, right? It's a gigantic saying no in a really unmanageable way, right? In this particular case, you want to be able to say yes, but your spirit, your body, everything is saying no, like actually kind of setting up that boundary in the absence of you being on board with setting it up. The other, kind of your subconscious is saying, no, I absolutely do not want to go past this line. And so I was just thinking about the relationship of those things, which seems pretty obvious as I state that, but just isn't maybe necessarily that obvious in real-time experience. Now, what do we do about that? I hate to bring up topics and then not deliver an action around what we can do about it. There are things that we can do about it. And as you would imagine, it goes back to setting some proper boundaries, giving yourself, first of all, some space to recover, and then setting the boundaries to avoid being in burnout to begin with. Because it takes a while to work through the solutions that have come, the solutions that are necessary, right, to combat the burnout. And it may mean needing to make some hard choices about what boundaries need to be set up. So I just wanted to bring that as a topic for consideration in our chat today. What do you think about that? What's been your experience around having a case of burnout and how the symptoms have appeared? And maybe most importantly, what have you done about it? What did you do to be able to make progress to get to the better outcome? Love to hear in comments your thoughts about that, and look forward to bringing another video to you in another week's time. All right, that's it for now. Take care. Thanks for watching.